Hi. This month we have a email from a Simply Investing platform subscriber, and it says it's been over 2 years and nothing meets the 12 rules. He's referring to the 12 rules of Simply Investing. Can you help me with utilities? Any suggestions? So that's a great question, and we're going to get into that right now in this video. This subscriber also has access to is also a customer of the Simply Investing course. So both the course and the platform. So let's take a look at this right now. So first thing that I would want to mention is here is the Simply Investing course. You can see we've got a number of modules and lessons here. What I would suggest to the reader is to go to lesson 27 right here in module 10. And in lesson 27, you just need to listen to the first question. And the first question is, are the 12 rules of Simply Investing flexible? And the short answer is they are, but you'd have to watch this lesson, lesson 27. It's not for everybody. It's more for experienced investors. And if you log into the course, watch lesson 27 and take a look at question 1, and I will take you through the steps one by one, the 12 rules, and tell you which ones are flexible and which ones are not. So that's going to help you to narrow down the list of utilities, companies that you're looking for in the utilities section. So now I'm going to go into the platform. So I'm logged into the Simply Investing platform right now. On the side menu, I'm going to go ahead and click on Search Stocks. Then I'm going to click here on Advanced Search. So now the subscriber is asking about the utilities sector. So I'm going to go into sectors here, scroll down, click on Utilities. Okay, so now when I hit search, it's going to search our entire database, and we have US and Canadian stocks in our database, and it's going to give us a list of all of the companies that belong to the utilities sector. So I'm going to go ahead and click on search right now. Okay, so now we can see, let's scroll down here. We're going to just focus in this video on US stocks, but the same information applies for Canadian stocks as well. So if I scroll down, you can see here, it says 114. So there's 114 stocks that are in the utilities sector in the US. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Now I'm going to scroll to the right because I want to bring your attention to the last column here. But here, I'm going to scroll back. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to hide the share price column, right? It's not relevant to our discussion right now, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that. Okay, so this just makes it easier to see the column on the far right. And so you can see here it says SI criteria out of 10. So it's referring to the 10 SI criteria, which is rules number 5A to 11C. So they're all here. So rule 5A says, average EPS growth. And if I hover over the question mark, EPS growth must be 8% or more. If not, the company will fail, rule 5A. 5B says number of EPS increases. We're looking for 8 or more over the last 20 years. Again, if not, the company will fail, rule 5B. And then so we've got all of the rules here, rules 5A to 11C. And what I always suggest to everyone is if you're going to start investing, the best place to invest in is our companies that pass all of the 10 SI criteria. So they get a 10 out of 10. And they're right here in top ranked. So if you go ahead and click on the side menu, top ranked, you'll automatically get a list of companies that get a 10 out of 10 in the SI criteria. So they pass rules 5A to 11C. Now, the subscriber's email is correct in that if you look at utilities, and I'm going to go ahead and sort right now. See here, it says SI criteria. So I'm going to sort from highest to lowest. So I'm going to click on this little arrow here. Okay, so now it's sorting from low to high. So click on it again. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Is now we've sorted the list of companies by SI criteria from high to low. And the subscriber is right because we're not seeing any company here that gets a 10 out of 10. we've got an 8. So the first company on the list here fails 2 of the SI criteria out of 10. And we can see the failures are highlighted right here. So it fails rule 10, fails rule number 8. Okay. And then we can see the next company on the list also gets an 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and then so forth and so forth. Okay. And we can scroll down the list here. So there are no utilities today, utility companies today in the US that pass all of the SI criteria. They get a 10 out of 10. So what should you do as an investor? So the short answer is you just have to remain patient and you have to wait until a company gets a 10 out of 10, meaning that it's undervalued and it's also a quality dividend stock, meaning it has good EPS growth, good dividend growth, payout ratio is 75% or less, the debt is 70% or less, and so forth and so forth to pass all the rules. So that's the short answer. Now, in reality, and you can see from the reader's email, he's been a subscriber for 2 years and he's never seen a utility company get a 10 out of 10. So what do you do in this case? So like I said, number one, I want you to go to the Simply Investing course, go to lesson 27 and watch my answer to question 1 here. Okay, so that's going to give you some guidance. That's step 1. Okay, step 2. What you'll notice here, a number of the failures, there's some common failures here. Utility companies in general do not do share buybacks. So you see rule number 10, a lot of companies fail rule number 10. Okay, a lot of them. Look at this. As we scroll down, pretty much all of them, right? Except for like these 2 here. So rule number 10 is one that's flexible. And again, this is for investors who have been investing for a while. They already have a dividend portfolio. And so they've been investing for a while. You have a list of quality stocks in other sectors, but now they're looking to diversify and they really want to invest in 1 or 2 companies or a few companies that are in the utilities sector. So this video is really for them. So rule number 10 is one of the ones that's flexible, and I talk about it in lesson 27 in the video. So we're okay, again, for advanced investors who already have a dividend portfolio and investing for a while, we're okay skipping rule number 10. So we're flexible on that. So now the company, if we're looking at the first company, WEC, so if we take this out of the equation, now the company still has 1 more failure, which is a long-term debt to equity ratio. And you'll notice here, rule number 8, we're looking for companies that have 70% or less debt. Now, generally, utility companies, because of the nature of their business, will carry more debt than other companies in other industries. And again, if we scroll down, so here we can see it's 130%. And if we scroll down, you'll see the majority of companies are at over 100% debt. All of them. You see this? Right? And so that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, this is a good rule, rule number 8, good rule of thumb for the majority of companies out there. But when it comes to utilities, utilities generally carry more debt than companies that are not in the sector. So what do you do in this case? Again, rule 27 is going to take you through that, but I'll answer this right now. So rule number 8. So here's what I would do as an investor. So I'm going to go to the side menu here. I'm going to click on compare stocks. Okay. I am going to select US stocks. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter 5 companies that are in the utilities sector. And these are large companies. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those in there. Okay. Okay, so now we have our 5 companies. They're all in the utilities sector. Okay, I'm going to click on compare. So now I can see these 5 companies. I can compare them side by side. So what I'm going to do here and what I would like you to do is take a look at the long-term debt to equity ratio, rule number 8. And again, except for AWR, the rest are all over 100%. So what we do is we take these 5, and I'm going to do 5 for now, just want to keep the video short. But you can do 8, 9, or 10 if you wanted to get a more accurate number. What I want to do is take the average of these 5 companies here. So I've gone ahead and done that already. And so the average long-term debt to equity ratio for these 5 companies, so we add up these numbers, these 5, and then divide by 5, is 105%, 105.87. So that's an average. So you will find, in general, companies in the utility sector that are hovering around here. And we can see that. We have 109%, 107. This is a little high on the high end, 130, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish this, or I would even go as far as 110% as our sort of baseline. So any company here that's 110 or less, so I'm, this is fine because it already passes the rule. But then if our baseline is around 110% debt for utility companies, then this would be okay as well. The company would pass. And then Fortis would also pass this rule, okay? This one's kind of borderline, but that's fine. For now, I want to focus on just high-quality companies. So if we're just comparing, we're going to ignore everything else for now, just comparing rule number 8, this company's okay, this would be fine, this would be fine, okay? Now, obviously, they're all 3 of them are overvalued, so never invest in a company that's overvalued. So let's go back to our search. Go back to advanced search. Okay, I'm going to go back to our utilities sector. Click on search. Okay, I'm going to hide the, oh, it's already hidden. Perfect. Okay, so we got the SI criteria, and it looks like it's already sorted the way we left it. Perfect. So now that we apply everything that I've talked about in this video, the company here would be a good candidate to consider for investing in. Well, we said 110%, so this is 130. It's a little high, but I mean, if I scroll down the list, I can see 183 is even higher. 200% is really high. So again, ideally, you'd want to take an average of maybe 10 companies in here, right? You can try and take an average of all the companies on this table, but there's 50 here on the page, so that will take too much time, I think. So this would be fine, again, for advanced investors who already have a solid portfolio of quality dividend stocks, okay? And then share buyback, that's fine, and the company is undervalued. That's good. The second company on the list, we don't know if it's undervalued or valued, so I'm going to skip it for now. That's too much of a risk to take. The next one here, it's overvalued, skip it. Okay. This one here might be okay. Debt's a little higher than WEC. And the PB ratio, we cut off at 3. 3.06 is close. And again, that's another flexible rule that we talk about in our lesson 27. So possible candidate and possible candidate WEC, CMS. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling down here. Okay, now I'm going to stop here. So the other thing we find with utility companies is that the average dividend growth rate, see, we look for 8% or more, and you can see here they're all less than 8, right? All of them here. So I would do the same thing what I just showed you before, is I go to compare stocks, or even here, you have the numbers here. I would take an average of these 10 companies here and find out what that number is. And just looking at the screen here, it's probably going to come in close to maybe 5%, 4.5 maybe. So then your new baseline becomes 5 or 6%. Anything at that range would be fine, right? So we're modifying rule number 6. Instead of dividend growth of 8% or more, we're going to consider something around the 4.5%, 5% range when it comes to utility companies. Okay, so then that's going to open up a couple of more options for you, right? This would be another option then. This would be another option, and then this would be another option. Okay, so this gives you a couple of other companies to consider. And again, sorry if I'm repeating this again, but we want to make sure this is for advanced investors who already have a solid portfolio of dividend stocks, and they're really, really looking to add a few utility companies in there. So in that case, you do have to modify some of the rules, right? Because like I said, in general, the way the rules are today, utility companies fail rule number 10, they fail rule number 8, and they fail rule number 6. I mean, that's where we see a lot of the failures are occurring, right? So we have to make accommodations for that because these are much different companies than, for example, a retail company or a technology company, right? So hopefully that answers your question. And anyone else watching or listening to this, if you have any further questions, feel free to send me an email, info@simplyinvesting.com. And thank you for watching.